Hi everyone, we're going to take our class notes. Today's the 16th of April. We're going to do that factor box again today. So reviewing that, to make the box, we make a square or a rectangle, however you want to. Put a vertical and horizontal line through middle. Above the box on the left, you put the leading term. Above the box on the right, you put the constant. Inside the box, you find two numbers or variables that multiply to give you what you have above. You check on the diagonals by multiplying, and you add to see if it matches the middle term. If it matches the middle term, you have the correct box, and you write the factors. So we're going to go back into starting these problems. So here's our first example for today. We need to factor this with the box. Make your box. You will not get your points if I don't see your boxes, so you have to show the box and the check. So what multiplies to give us x squared? X and x. What multiplies to give us 2? 2 and 1. When I check my diagonal, I multiply to get 1x. I multiply to get 2x. I add together to get 3x. Check your middle term. Does that match the middle term? Yes, it does. I have the correct box. I write the factors. Remember, we can put positive 2 times a positive 1. These multiply to give us a positive 2. These multiply to give us x squared. Next example, make a box. X squared plus 6x and x. So some strategy, recognizing that the middle term is negative. I know that I need to use a negative times a negative, which gives me a positive. What multiplies to give you 6? You could use 3 and 2 or 6 and 1. I'm going to use 3 and 2 and try that. So the check is going to be this diagonal, negative 2x. This diagonal, negative 3x. Add those together, negative 5x. Does that match our middle term? It does. Two sets of parentheses. In my box, I see x minus 3 when I read and x minus 2 when I read. Third example, make a box. X squared minus 8x and x. 8 you can use 1 and 8 or 4 and 2. I'm going to try 4 and 2. One of these needs to be negative and my middle term is negative. So hopefully you are learning some strategy as to the fact that the negative should go with the bigger number if you want negatives when you check your diagonal. Checking diagonal, multiply to get 2x, multiply to get negative 4x, add together, different signs, subtract, keep the sign of the bigger, negative 2x. Does that match our middle term? Yes, it does. My box is correct. First factor is going to be x minus 4. This was a positive 2, right? A negative times a positive is how we get a negative. So we get x plus 2. Next example, going to make my box. X squared minus 18, x and x. 18, there's a lot to use. So I'm thinking 6 and 3, 9 and 2, 1 and 18. You have to be really good with your multiplication facts here to be able to get and understand this. I'm just going to try 3 and 6 because those multiply, and I'm going to put the negative with the 3. But when I check this, I can see that I get 6x minus 3x, which is 3x. We want 7x, so this is not the right box. So I need to try different numbers. I can't use a 6 and a negative 3. Give me a second to erase. So now I'm going to go ahead and try 9 and 2. And then I'm going to put the negative with the 2. That gives me 9x. And this diagonal gives me a negative 2x. And when I add those together, different signs, subtract, keep the sign bigger, 9 minus 2 is 7. Now I get the box to work. My factors are x plus 9 and x minus 2. Done. final answer. I have factored the final answer here and final answer here. So you understand what the end goal is to see the factors. That's your answer. We're leaving these in factored form. And our last example, x squared negative 4, setting up my box. Then I start the math. X times x gives me x squared. 4, I can use 2 and 2, or 4 and 1. I'm going to go with 4 and 1 here because I need a negative 4 and my middle term needs to add up to 3x. So I'm going to put the negative with the 1 and the check for this piece. This diagonal, negative 1x. This diagonal, 4x. Add those together. We're really not adding because they have different signs. We subtract and keep the sign of the bigger. 4 minus 1 is 3. Sign of the bigger, positive 3x. Matches our middle term. We are ready for our factors. X plus 4 and x minus 1. Factors, done with the problem, done with your class notes for today. Please again make sure that you wrote all of this down and then give it a try again for our second day. Bye everyone.